Hey gang, welcome back to Grace's Book Place. I am Grace and this is my book place. Once you start watching the rest of this video, you will quickly see that this bit, the intro and then the outro, were filmed a lot later than the rest of it. I was filming this vlog for February. It's a Valentine's vlog. It is now April. So what happened was that I started a new job at the very end of February, so everything else sort of took a bit of a back burner while I was orienting myself in that and sort of trying to do the whole work-home balance thing. I'm back now, ready to bring out. I've got a couple of videos already filmed that need to be edited and put out. I just haven't had time to edit them since I've been working. So, yeah, that's why this is so late. Sorry. But anyway, in this video, I will, it was sort of a relaxed thing. I was reading romance books for February for Valentine's Day. At the point that I started filming for this vlog, I had already read a fair few. I think I had already read four romance books. In this one, I sort of like talk a bit about The Hating Game, Loveless, and it ends with Us, my first Colleen Hoover. How could we forget? So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It's a little bit slapdash and messy. Come along and have some belated Valentine's fun with me. So it's Valentine's Day and we are about to watch The Hating Game. I read it earlier on this month for Valentine's Day, so let's see if the film is as bad as everyone's been saying it is. Hello. It's way later on the next day. Caleb is downstairs watching PSG versus Real Madrid. It's been 0-0 for like the whole game, so it's a bit boring. So I've come upstairs to do a bit of reading. I am going to start off with the 100 pages of The Priory of the Orange Tree for this week. That's this section that I've got here, so I'll read all of that and then feedback in our Storygraph buddy read chat. I'm like being very careful to try not to read more than I'm supposed to. I'm really enjoying it so far, but because Ali's busier than I am, so I'm trying to make sure that we are staying at the same pace so we can talk about it and have fun reading it together. So I'm being very good and waiting until each Monday before I read the next section. So now I get to read the next part. And then after that, I'm going to start on Loveless, which Ali also gifted me. So it's a very Ali-centered week or couple of days, I guess, of reading, depending on when I finish this. So yeah, so I will start, I'll read Priory and then I'll start Loveless and hopefully check in with you soon on where I'm at and how I'm feeling about my reads. The wind is being extremely loud and I hate it. Anyway, it's the next day. I read my 100 pages for the week last night of Priory. You can kind of see that it's just been getting sad. Like, all the blue is sad. So we're like, I think that's basically halfway now. We've done 4 weeks, we've got 4 more weeks to go, so about 400 pages left. So that's really fun, really enjoying that. And then today I have been reading Loveless. I am about 50%, roughly just under 50% of the way through, so I thought I'd give like a little update. I'm really enjoying it so far. The conversations have been really interesting so far. I don't know if you can hear that music in the background, but I'm giving this update right before I go and watch Liverpool versus, I can't even remember who, but it's a Champions League game about to watch that with Caleb, so there's some obnoxiously loud Champions music playing right now. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I am about 200 pages in, and I think it's 400 and something pages long, so yeah, roughly 50%. I don't know how I feel about Rooney yet. Like, I'm gonna try and keep this spoiler free, but just in case, like, if there's people who've read it who know who I'm talking about, I don't know how I feel about her yet. Like, I like her, but there's been a couple of moments where she's annoyed me, so we shall see. But I am very intrigued, and I am enjoying all the friendship stuff so far, and everyone's great. Oh. So yeah, I think it's really good. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I really like Alice Oseman's writing. She very much captures a mood of being a teenager in England. And obviously I can't personally relate to the struggles in this particular book because I'm not part of the LGBTQIA+ community. But all of the university stuff, to an extent, my university wasn't as fancy, but all of the university stuff and like the location-based things and the culture and stuff like that and freshers and all that stuff, very relatable. So I'm enjoying that. It's very good. Now I am going to go and watch the football with Caleb, but first I might make a future like full video on this at some point, but I just thought I'd mention it. I have decided this year, that's the word I'm looking for, that I'm gonna crochet a blanket, which doesn't sound that insane. Like, okay, you're a person who crochets, you're crocheting a blanket, cool, who cares? But I have decided that I'm gonna crochet a blanket where every granny square, like I'm gonna do a granny square blanket, where every square is based on the cover of a book I've read. So I have crocheted all of my January squares so far. I need to try and make like space so I can show you this. So yeah, I want to crochet a square for every single book I read this year, so hopefully at the end of the year I'll have like a gigantic blanket just full. I guess maybe not gigantic. I've never made a blanket before, so I don't have a reference of how many squares it takes to make like a decent sized blanket, so maybe it will just be a normal sized blanket. I've done all of the ones for January, and today while we're watching the football I'm going to start on all of the ones I've read so far for February. Some of them are really ugly, and I think that's one of the fun things about this, is like some of them are really ugly because I don't get to choose the colours. They're just whatever colours end up being on the cover. And how I'm using it because it's stressful trying to gauge myself what colours to use and what order to use them in. I've decided that what I'm doing is I'm putting an image of the cover for each book in Canva, and then when you click off Canva and click on the background, it suggests colours from the images that are in, like, so you can match everything. And it usually gives 4 to 5 colours that it's taken from your image. So all of these were made using the colours that Canva said it picked up on. So there's like at least one square here that doesn't make sense upon first look, but Canva said it was so. So that's all, I'm saying. Okay. So these are the ones I have so far. This is the ugliest one, and it's the first one I did. But, like I said, I don't have too much of a say in the colours that get chosen. I'll put images of the books that these ones are for, because all of my copies are downstairs and I can't bother to go and get them. But this one is for The Silence of the Girls, which is the first book I read in 2022. This one is for Beloved by Toni Morrison. This one is for Women Don't Owe You Pretty. This is for Philip Pullman's Grim Tales. This one is a weird one because it's for the sailor who... I can't remember the title, but it'll be up here somewhere. But when you look at the cover, it doesn't look like it has purple in it, but Canva said it does, and I'm not mad at it. I think it's cute. So that's that one. And then this one is for Dishonesty is the Second Best Policy by David Mitchell. Yeah, excuse the ends. I haven't, sewn my ends in yet, and I will at some point, but, who can be bothered? So these are all of the ones for January. And like, is this not going to be like the ugliest and yet cutest blanket in the world? Like, none of the colours will match, but by the end of it, it will be so mismatched that hopefully it will be like delightful, and I'm excited for it. So these are the colours I'm about to use for my next two. This one is this row is for the hating game, and then this one is for the flat share. And these are just like the closest out of the yarn that I already own that I could match the colours to what Canva suggested. So this is what I'll be doing while I'm watching the game, which has already started, so I've got to go do that.
Games between the teams into sole victories in the European Cup semi-final back in 1965. But they have won the last 5 matches in Italy against English sides. They're not...
Hi, it's me again. Obviously, this is my vlog. I finished Loveless. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really liked the conversations it was having. Really liked Georgia. Loved the speech that Rooney gave at the end. If you've read it, you know it. So that was great. I definitely think it wasn't the most sophisticated writing I've ever read, but I think that's because Alice Oseman writes accessible stuff for YA audiences, like young audiences. So that kind of makes sense that some of it would feel a little bit like less sophisticated, less mature in a sense, because it's aimed at that sort of age group. So that's all good. That's fine. I really enjoyed it though. Thank you so much to Ali for sending it to me for my birthday. And I loved it. It was great. Next is It Ends With Us. So here comes the first Colleen Hoover. Either I'm going to jump completely on the bandwagon, or I feel like my prediction is that it's going to be, this is a bit like Marmite, like either I'm going to hate it or I'm going to love it. I mean, I might also be indifferent, which would be boring, but it's possible. But we'll give it a go and we'll see. So the next time we talk, I'll hopefully be about halfway through maybe, or something else as sufficiently interesting will have happened, but yeah. Hey, hello, me again. Back speaking to you from the future slash... I don't really know what's going on with this. But that last clip that you saw was from... I went to see Cinderella in London with like Andrew Lloyd Webber's version with my sister-in-law and mother-in-law, so thought I'd add that in a little bit because it's something like a little bit of fun footage I got from the very end. But yeah, I never got round to talking about my thoughts on It Ends With Us and, you know, reading romance in general throughout February, because I'm not a romance reader. It's why I did this, because I wanted to broaden my horizons a bit and read some romance that some people consider to be essentials, or some of the most popular ones recently. And I would like to preface this by saying I had a good time. Like, I enjoyed my reading month. I did. But I have confirmed that I don't love romance. Or like, I don't love something that is just romance in its entirety. I love romantic subplots and romance happening to characters, but I don't love it when that's all that's happening. And for example, like my favourite book that I read in February when I was doing this romance reading thing was One Last Stop, which was like heavily romantic, but also a lot about time travel and like solving a mystery, and I loved that. Out of the more conventional ones, like I think I enjoyed The Flat Share the most because it was interesting dynamics and there was other stuff going on, like to do with like work and the judicial system and stuff like that. So there were just other things to think about basically, and then the romance was happening a lot more prominently than in some other books, but like it wasn't the only thing happening all the time, basically. A lot of the main characters are women in these stories, and it feels like the only good thing that ever happens to them is a dude turning up. Obviously, not for like in the case of like Henna Wars and stuff like that, where it's sapphic and everything. And actually, I enjoyed those more, but especially because Henna Wars had a conversation about racism and cultural appropriation at a school age, and I thought that was really interesting. And that's not me like proclaiming a general judgment upon all of romance. I have not even made a dent in the genre, and I'm aware of that. So like this isn't a conclusive thing, and it doesn't mean I'm going to stop reading stuff that is just classed as romance. If you love stuff that is just romance and relationship based, there's nothing wrong with that. And not much is just romance, I'm aware of that. It's like how One Last Stop is like predominantly romance, but there's like sci-fi and mystery in it, and then It Ends With Us was a dark romance, and in many respects some people don't even consider it a romance. I personally do. It has all the tropes and the structure of a romance story generally, but it is like more than just a romance story. And on that, because I never finished my thoughts on It Ends With Us, it was okay. I didn't love it or hate it, I just sort of was indifferent to it, and that's how I felt about a couple of these reads, that I wasn't bothered. Like I can sit and read it, I can sit and turn my brain off for a bit and enjoy it, or like just the process of reading, but it didn't move me. In fact, the only time I was moved at all when reading It Ends With Us was the afterword, like the author's note at the end, where she explains why she wrote the book and how it's from her own experience with her parents' relationship and things going on and stuff like that. And I thought that was very moving because it was a real thing, and it was her talking about her real experiences and what her mother went through and things like that. And I thought that was lovely, and it made me understand why the book was written. But before I read that, because obviously it comes afterwards, as I was reading it, it was okay. I'm sure it's helped lots of people, and in that way I think that's good. But it wasn't particularly, like, this is my first Colleen Hoover, so this is more about that than anything, but I didn't find the writing particularly brilliant or impressive, and the story was okay. I don't know, it just wasn't anything special for me personally, and I think that that's a shame, because Colleen Hoover is so hyped in the romance world, and that doesn't mean there aren't, like I said, loads more romance authors I should check out who are probably like more suited to what I'm looking for. I will definitely read more Colleen Hoover. I'm interested. I want to read like Verity and That's the only one I can think of right now, but there's a load. So it's not like me saying I don't want to read anymore, but I won't be rushing to read anymore. So there's that. That was my little exploration into the world of romance novels. I did have a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I don't know what you guys think. Did you love any of these? Like I say, I think I only really loved one of them, and that was One Last Stop. Like, I had a great time with One Last Stop. All the others I'm either indifferent towards or they were okay. You know, like, they were, oh, it was nice. Like, Loveless was good. I liked Loveless. But apart from that, everything else was, like, cool. So, clearly not a romance reader, but if you do know, like, if you're watching this and you're like, you haven't experienced what you should have experienced, like, you need to read this, like, do comment and, like, suggest some romance books you think that I would prefer based on what I've said. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!